Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. It is a new week, and that means we've got some new updates inbound for Call of Duty here. We've got some interesting things going on further on into the week. We also ended up seeing several updates go out over the weekend, including some brand new patch notes and a few other announcements from Call of Duty in terms of other things they're looking into and that'll be updated and fixed here in the near future as well. First up, though, as mentioned, we got to start with some surprise patch notes that dropped late on Friday. They do these random Friday updates now kind of out of the blue, this one largely focusing on the premium side of things. So for example, in multiplayer on Clifftown, they smoothed out some collision that led to unintended sightlines, and on Beacon closed an exploit that allowed players to leave the play space. Kind of becoming a norm now. Every time we get patch notes for multiplayer, there's some kind of map out of bounds exploit that's always mentioned. It's the new stability fixes, it seems like at this point. In ranked play, they also addressed an issue where winning an overload match in overtime where the score would result in a technical tie would actually give you an SR loss if you were on the winning team. So that's been sorted out and solved there. With UI, they addressed an issue where some ranked play camos were missing unlock requirements when previewing. Over in Zombies with Mule Kick, they addressed an issue that prevented players from controlling Klaus when they had the fully equipped Mule Kick augment equipped. And with UI, addressed an issue where Ashwood survival save files would have the wrong preview image. Nothing too crazy there, just a little visual bug fix with that one. Then in in-game with the Ether Blade, they addressed an issue where the first use would consume a charge when not hitting an enemy. Then with challenges, addressed an issue that prevented the Dark Ops off-meta calling card challenge from actually tracking correctly. So just a couple of bug fixes here, some slight gameplay updates in general as far as the surprise patch notes from over the weekend go. But like I said, coming up with this week, not only do we have a couple of guaranteed updates already happening, there's a few other announcements that Call of Duty has made in regards to the state of certain things in game. So, for example, Call of Duty updates posted over the weekend saying, we are now investigating reports that some multiplayer maps are missing their final color pass after the Season 3 update. What's being referenced here essentially is just all of the carry forward maps that we've got in multiplayer now. A bunch of maps that we just had in Black Ops 6 that are now in Black Ops 7. Take Grind, for example. They are not saturated like they were back in Black Ops 6, and a bunch of people noticed this. They started posting about like, hey, wait a second, all the maps that are in Black Ops 7 right now that we just had in Black Ops 6, they look worse. Why do they look worse? They're just being copy and pasted over. So they did acknowledge, yeah, we forgot to put the final color update out onto these, so the maps are brighter, they're more vibrant, they're more saturated. That'll get fixed here in the near future, and those maps will visually be looking a little bit more appealing. So some good news there, but definitely a weird one to have to report on in the first place. The Call of Duty community account also gave some insight into the prioritization of some updates, because obviously there's been a lot of talk lately as we've seen multiple patch notes go out, multiple updates and things get posted. People saying, okay, that's great that you fixed that, but what are we doing about the game's stuttering issues? What are we doing about how on PlayStation it's almost unplayable due to the hitching and the lag problems? So Call of Duty updates posted this thing about the Season 3 maps not having the correct color. Somebody responded and said, are you trolling? You're doing everything but fixing those lag spikes and stuttering. And Call of Duty community said, hey, are you talking about the recent performance issues after Season 3 started? If so, that is currently being investigated. So as of right now, when you guys are seeing this video, because I'm sure several of you are curious about this, unfortunately, no, this still is not fixed. They do go on to say, we have different teams that focus on different parts of the game. Our MP Maps team investigating an MP Maps issue and prioritized a fix, which we communicated. Investigating or fixing a separate issue does not mean that there has been some sort of like priority shift there. So I've seen this a lot. You know, why are they fixing this when this is still a problem? A lot of the time it could be they don't have an actual solution yet to this stuttering issue because they're investigating the root cause of it, but they don't have something set in stone where it's like, okay, if we update this just universally fixes it. It might require more testing than something like, oh, we can go and put the color brightness bar up on this map and now we've fixed that. It's a lot more straightforward. Just a little bit more insight into what exactly is going on with that. Again, an issue that's still being investigated. And speaking of things being investigated, that's essentially all the Trellos have on them right now. A lot of this is stuff that we've already covered previously. Of course, the aforementioned multiplayer maps missing their color passes. They do have a fix scheduled for this for a future update. Now, Danger Close Wild wild card still is not always giving you that additional piece of lethal equipment. The one-man army challenge still is not tracking correctly. There's certain prestige master titles that have incorrect requirements, and you still can't put the Redwell Shade suppressor on the MK35 or the VST. All of those still being looked into. And a similar story over here on the Warzone Trello as well, looking into those performance issues on PlayStation, investigating issues where the wingsuit doesn't deploy, but neither does your backup parachute in certain cases like that. So things that we've covered here previously still being investigated, still being looked into for some future updates. Obviously, as we get any new details, any new info on when these updates could be coming, or they just drop the updates outright in some patch notes, you guys know I've always got you covered for absolutely everything going on in the world of COD. So feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay in the know. And if you guys enjoy this video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated as well. Now, of course, because it is a new week here in COD, that also means on a Thursday, we are going to end up seeing another new update drop. That's our one guaranteed update day this week. That's not to say we couldn't see some other updates happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, who knows, right? But we know on Thursday, we are getting another new content update, specifically with the weekly challenges. Of course, the week 3 challenges will open up here, and we're either going to end up seeing the new 1911 pistol or the spear aftermarket part for the X9 Maverick, where instead of bullets, it shoots spears, which could be pretty crazy. I don't think that'll be too competitive, but it'll certainly be funny to mess around with. So we have one of those two dropping via the new weekly challenges later on this week. Like I said, those will fully go live on Thursday. We'll be covering all the details with that stuff once that update is fully out. We also have one other significant thing to look out for this week, and that is the fact that on April 17th, we are going to see the Modern Warfare 2019 Game Pass update. Now, I will preface this by saying I don't personally expect anything to happen with this other than the game gets added to Game Pass. However, as we just saw, there is a decent amount of hype behind the Modern Warfare name, and with that whole resurgence happening on Steam a few weeks back because they put MW 2019 on sale, it's very possible that because this will be on Game Pass Ultimate, Premium, and PC, there's going to be another decent spike in the player base here for MW 2019, and we're approaching marketing season for Modern Warfare 4. If Call of Duty wanted to do some kind of teaser in game, I feel like doing it in MW 2019 would be a very, very interesting and cool way to do it, getting some more hype behind the Modern Warfare sub-franchise as is. So we'll have to wait and see if a full update goes out once this Game Pass update does end up dropping, and certainly do some investigating if that happens, but certainly something to keep an eye on here in the coming days as well, I think. That said, though, that is effectively going to wrap things up for this video. That's everything that changed in some of these surprise updates over the weekend, and a few things to look out for here in the coming days too. If you guys enjoyed the video, as mentioned, do me a favor, hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, you want to make sure you are always in the know for absolutely everything going on in the world of Call of Duty, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.